Dwayne Weston, U.S., 2003. The Royal Gorge Bridge in Colorado, one of the highest suspension bridges in the world, hanging 955 feet above the canyon floor. That morning, thousands of spectators gathered for what was advertised as one of the most daring stunts ever attempted. At the center was Dwayne Weston, a 30-year-old Australian skydiver and world champion base jumper. Known for his precision in a wingsuit, he was considered one of the best on the planet. The plan was breathtaking. Weston would leap from the cliffs, glide across the gorge, and clear the bridge itself, while his teammate Jeb Corliss would safely pass underneath. Two men slicing opposite paths through a 1,000-foot canyon, the perfect spectacle for the cameras and the cheering crowd. Weston zipped up into his black wingsuit, confident and calm, as if it were just another day in the sky. But once he jumped, things were already off. Strong crosswinds spattered the wingsuit, nudging his trajectory lower than expected. From the ground, gasps rippled through the audience as it became clear Weston wasn't soaring over the bridge. He was headed straight for it. His heart rate spiked. The steel beams rushed toward him like blades. There was no time left to correct. Then, impact. At 120 miles per hour, his body slammed into the bridge's steel support. The collision ripped one of his legs clean off. His wingsuit shredded apart, scattering pieces of fabric and flesh across the morning sky like confetti. A split second later, his body tumbled into the canyon, crashing onto the rocks 300 feet below. The silence broke with screams as thousands of horrified spectators realized what they had just witnessed. Emergency crews scrambled into the gorge, but there was nothing to save. Weston had bled out instantly. People fainted. Others stood frozen in shock. For many, the sight of one of the world's best wingsuit pilots torn apart mid-air would become an image they'd never forget. The Royal Gorge event, intended to showcase human daring, instead became a nightmare carved into history. Dwayne Weston proved that even mastery can't erase risk. Skill reduces danger, but at 120 miles per hour, one miscalculation is all it takes. Nature always gets the final say. The Big Dipper, 1,930 USA. In July 1930, Krug Park in Omaha, Nebraska, was packed on a hot summer day. Families, children, and teenagers lined up to ride the Big Dipper, the park's most famous wooden roller coaster. For them, it was just a harmless fun ride, a train ride like any other day. 23 passengers boarded 4 train cars. The chains rattled. The iron wheels screeched on the wooden rails. The train slowly climbed the first steep incline, everyone eagerly awaiting the familiar plunge. Suddenly, a bolt in the brake system came loose. The wheels jammed. The train frame shook violently. The metal screeched. The sound lost between the wind and laughter. A few passengers caught a glimpse of the train floor shaking, their hearts pounding, sensing something was wrong. Then, boom! The first car slid off the rails, smashed through the wooden barrier, and plummeted 35 feet to the ground. The 3 cars behind were dragged along, twisted, crushed. Bodies were thrown from their seats, flying into the air. Screams tore through the air, then died in the sound of splintering wood and twisted metal. 4 people died instantly. 19 others lay on the ground, broken bones, covered in blood. But the rescue effort was halted. Thousands of spectators swarmed the scene, curiously looking at the wreckage, making it impossible for ambulances to get in. Finally, the police had to break down the wooden barrier to clear a path for the victims to be taken to the emergency room. The park never recovered from the disaster. One loose screw, and the entire train became a common coffin. In the world of roller coasters, even a small mistake is enough to claim dozens of lives. The Mindbender, 1,900 and 86, Canada. In 1986, in the heart of Galaxyland in Edmonton, Canada, a new wonder was unveiled: the Mindbender, the world's largest indoor roller coaster at the time. The spiraling tracks, the triple loop, the thumping music, all of it turned it into a huge hit. For visitors, it was just a fun night at the park. That night, dozens of people boarded the Mindbender. The safety locks clicked, and the cars hurtled forward amid laughter and screams of excitement. The ride started off smoothly, as it had so many times before. But in the last car, a screw had long since come loose. The wheels shook violently. Passengers heard an unusual metallic screech. Cold sweat broke out as the train rounded the curve before the first loop. Crack! The last car came off the track, slamming into the steel frame. The force of inertia threw 4 passengers out, sending them flying through the air between the giant steel loops. 3 fell to the concrete floor, dead instantly. The others survived, but suffered multiple broken bones, and blood stained the tracks. Witnesses fled in panic, some screaming as they saw their friends thrown from the car. Police and paramedics quickly cordoned off the ride, but the truth was clear. A minor maintenance error had turned the ride into a killing machine. Mindbender was immediately shut down for investigation, and the park's reputation never fully recovered. A seemingly insignificant screw had claimed 3 lives. The thrill ride had no tolerance for mistakes. Louis Stevenson, Spain, 2024. The 13th of October, 2024. Louis Stevenson, 26 years old, had one goal: to capture the most viral stunt of his career. His target? The Castilla-Lancha Bridge in Spain, nearly 630 feet tall, the highest bridge in the country. To most, the warning sign at the base that read, "No climbing, no exceptions," was enough. But to Louis, it was just part of the challenge. At first, everything looked smooth. He climbed the lower beams with confidence, sneakers gripping the steel frame. His friend stayed below, filming every move, nervous but still recording. The plan was simple: scale the bridge, post a video, and rake in millions of views. On the surface, it felt almost routine, just another day of chasing clout. Halfway up, the bridge shuddered. A strong gust of wind whipped through the valley, rattling the metal. Louis's palm slipped for just a second. His friend shouted in panic. His heart skipped. Sweat dampened his grip. But instead of stopping, he laughed it off. That single slip was the crack in the armor, the moment where adrenaline blurred into danger. Then it happened. His sneaker lost traction. His body lurched outward into empty air. 3 seconds. That's all it took to fall over 600 feet. The impact was instant. Blunt force trauma to the skull, chest crushed, spine shattered. His body hit the ground with the same force as a car crashing into a wall at 75 miles per hour. No scream, no second chance, just silence. When police arrived, they recovered both the body and the GoPro that recorded the entire fall from his own perspective. The footage showed everything, from the slip to the fatal impact. His friend, who had begged him not to climb, was forced to keep filming, knowing no one would believe it otherwise. Later, his girlfriend, Savannah Parker, recalled his last words to her. "Good night. I love you. Good morning." Now, those words carried a weight she'd never escape. Louis Stevenson became another brutal reminder written in blood. You can push your limits, but gravity doesn't forgive. One slip, one fall, one life gone.